Okay, I am live. I am waiting for the good doctor to come. We're going to be on Instagram Live. We're here on YouTube and Facebook. And we're going to be talking about detoxification. So I just wanted to start on time. And if you want to say hello or you want to ask an early question, we can do that. I could talk about detox. I haven't done a detox video in a good while. Um, there are a number of them on my on my channel, and if you're on my channel, thank you. If you're a subscriber, thank you for subscribing. Any positive or negative or whatever feedback will greatly be appreciated. But yeah, we're coming up on the spring equinox, and fall equinox. We're coming up on the fall equinox. So it's really very different than it's similar and it's different than the spring equinox. So I'm going to talk about that and get Aris's thoughts on that. I'm just writing that down for myself, spring versus fall. Because the thing is that with the spring, in the northern hemisphere, we have spring going into summer, and then obviously with fall, we have fall going into winter. So even though the sun is equidistant in terms of the extremes of the solstices, it's a huge difference. Huge difference. We definitely have the energy with the fall. We have the energy with the spring growing. The sun, the days getting longer, at least in the northern hemisphere. And with we have we have the days getting shorter. That sun energy getting weaker, so therefore our energy gets weaker. So I would definitely say, I know at least from my personal experiences over the years, 20 plus years of doing this and really being in tune and vibe. Let's see, pushing the tip, brother. All right, all right, all right. One love, brother. Um, One love, brother from Brazil. Yeah, with the fall equinox, it's going to be a thing where uh, it's going to be more important to fast with the fall equinox versus the spring equinox. I know that my body has been more sensitive to the fall equinox versus the spring equinox. Again, with the spring, your immunity and your immune system should be getting stronger. It's still important to take that seasonal break from food. Um, and we are more susceptible. Our bodies are a little more weaker, versus like when we're on a straight path, like between the equinoxes and the solstices. But nonetheless, the fall equinox is a very important time coming up right now. Um, again, so again, and I'm speaking in terms of being in the northern hemisphere. Being in the northern hemisphere, there is a difference. Obviously, with the being in the southern hemisphere, you're now going to be going into you should be in your winter. Does that make sense? Yeah, I guess you would be in winter and going into. I'll have to think about that. Nonetheless, yes, there is a difference, and like I said, I'm speaking in reference towards being in the northern hemisphere. Okay, so again, we are expecting Dr. Aris. He should be joining me any minute now. Let me message him and see what's his status. Um, Yeah, but in the meantime, I'm here live to take any questions. Excuse my squinting. My eyes are not as good as they used to be. So I'm reading this question. I'm going to post your presence. Yes, greetings. Greetings. Thank you for joining us. I have a question. I'm coming out of a 7-day coconut water fast. I've been all raw, high on fruits. Wonderful, wonderful. And the question is I was having too much of a bowel movement. It led me too fast. After breaking it, I feel better, but still too much. Is this normal? Should I up my greens? Previously, I was having too much bowel. Wow, I don't know if you can have too much bowel movement. I mean, if it wasn't uncomfortable, I don't see that as anything being strange or, um, um, bringing you off of balance. I know with coconut water, when you start doing like high, if you're not used to doing high raw, lots of coconut water, lots of fresh juices, it can certainly produce a diarrhea-like effect, which is again the intelligence of the body knowing exactly what you need and how you need to eliminate, and it's almost like trusting the process. Um, so, so I would say that just to again trust the process. Stay with the high raw, the high fruits. Yeah, it is. Ultimately, coming back to greens and um, okay, he's saying 5 minutes, so we got 5 minutes. Um, coming back to greens and alternating between greens, your salads, and then going back to your high moisture fruits. That's the balance. That's the dance. Everyone is different. Everyone is unique. You want to, sort of, be your own. One of the things that's beautiful about this lifestyle is that you can really be your own guinea pig. I mean, I'm giving you that permission, only because, obviously, you can lean on me as a resource. Dr. Aris will be with us in a minute. I have 20 plus years experience. He has 40 plus years experience doing this. Um, and you get a chance to hear from both of us, but I know, at least from my experience, uh, I did someone asked me yesterday how long of a fast I've ever done. um, I've done up to 37 days. I was attempting to do 40 days, and had I not been acclimated or used to doing it, I could probably expected, like, intense, diarrhea like bowel movements at some point during that period. However, my body was acclimated to it. I didn't have really a lot of weight or a lot of reserves to feed on, which is why I felt like I wasn't able to go the whole 40 days as I was planning. So that's a factor. But nonetheless, the first 3 weeks was, because it was essentially a 5-week fast. The first 3 weeks I did. The first 3 weeks I did just coconut water, and then I added the last 2 weeks. I added orange juice, fresh squeezed orange juice. So and I can remember, when I put that first meal on my stomach, it was almost like my bowels were holding the coconut water within my bowels, because it was like, once you got to think, you have within your stomach, it's like, your abdominal area, you got everything packed in there. You got your stomach, which is probably no bigger than your fist, with your small intestines, your large intestines, everything is really kind of packed tightly right in there. So it's like, once I put something on my stomach, that put pressure on my bowels, and it was basically a liquid elimination. So that was interesting, and I think that again, it was just almost like my by doing it at that level of time, the coconut water, the fresh juices is really able to go into the intestines and really sort of cleanse the colon. We don't really need a lot of these stimulating herbs and substances. I mean, sometimes they are very useful and they can help out a lot. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. But yeah, I would say trust your guide. I mean, I think as we continue to do this, we can become more. We can connect with how we should be doing this, and trusting your own intuition. We are our own best healers. No one knows your body better than you, and so we all want to get to that space. All right, quick question. Do you see and reason not to mix fruits and vegetables? Are there any fruits should be avoided when eating vegetables? Great question. Great question. Well, this is a very extensive question. I'm actually, if you don't know, I'm actually within, I'm studying actually to get an ND PhD in natural hygienic health and nutrition. And this is a question that I've just been studying about, and as far as food combining, and really the golden rule, or I should say, like mainly the rule, because basically from the natural hygiene standpoint, most of the food combination, especially in the raw cuisine, is something that is like somewhat frowned upon. We know that it is incorrect to combine proteins with fats, or proteins with starches with fats, um, sugars with starches, and almost every combination sort of kind of violates, and it creates a dilemma for the digestive system. Before I finish with that, I want to make sure Aris is see if Aris is on, so we could bring him in. He's not on yet. Okay, so but I will finish the question by saying that greens are sort of the outlier. Greens we can safely combine with, especially as far as food. Now juices, that's a juice is actually simpler, but as far as food, dealing that as a raw food chef, and somebody who wants to serve food, the highest form of nutrition in our food, combining greens with fats, greens with starches, greens with sugars, green seems to be the universal food that we can combine other things with, and not suffer a digestive dilemma. Because usually, like for example, if you combine like protein, which requires specific enzymes, with sugar, for example, then something has to take a back seat, and so you may have fermentation, you may have other issues that don't, one thing gets digested at the expense of the other when we're making these combinations. It's like Dr. Herbert Shelton says, nature didn't produce a sandwich, which is also the argument for, like, eating beans, for example. Beans have protein and starch, which is why they naturally produce gas. So great question. Greens are basically like what we can combine. We can safely combine with most other different categories of foods, and mainly it's three main categories. We have our fats, we got our starches, proteins, or I should say fats, proteins, and sugars. So, we crave them all. We need them all on some level or some degree. And it's really about like, having a balance, obviously, between the three. So, great question. Any reason? All right. Greetings. Are you still practicing Shiva? If yes, have you noticed the benefits to be yourself? Let me say this. There will never not be a day where I don't practice it. For those that don't know what Shivambu is, it is the production of your own water, aka urine. And I have just check out my video, better than coconut water. Um, it is. Let me say. Let me. It's actually been coming up on a year. I did document on my channel that this was something that I was doing, and I'm still doing. I have my jar over there. I haven't finished mine for today. So after this live stream, I will finish it. But just to speak on it really quick, I mean, again, better than coconut water is our own water. And I think one of the things that I tell people is that, you know, all of the things that we talk about, when we talk about nutrition, food and nutrition, you can get the best coconut water, the best fruits, the best vegetables. Um, and the thing is that no matter how good it is, no matter how pristine, organic, no matter how rich the soil is, those things are not a part of you. Doesn't mean that we're not supposed to ingest it, but they are not a part of you. My experience is what the lesson I've got from doing Shivambu is that by ingesting these things in coconut water, the fresh juices, the fresh fruits, etc., we then take that excess moisture, that excess water, okay, because it is not waste. Our liver does the job of filtering any toxins, anything that our body doesn't need, and our kidneys do the job of really sort of at least the whole digestive system does the process of saying like, look, we're now going to produce this water, and you are to re-ingest it. So therefore, all of those great things that you took in, you really, again, it's not a part of you. So now I'm making it something that it is familiar, something that your body completely recognizes because you made it. And therefore, when we look at it scientifically, stem cells, hormones, vitamins, minerals, glutamine, that you made for free specifically for you. There's nothing, there's no herb, there's no food, there's nothing that can really compete or even come close to healing, detoxification. In fact, to the earlier question, to the brother who asked about doing a lot of high fruits, high coconut water, and creating that detoxification effect. The Shivambu does that like almost daily for me, almost daily. If I do a lot of fruits with it, then it's definitely going to do it. If I'm doing more heavier foods, then it won't have that detoxification effect. I mean, it is potent. It is our own water. It is our number one best medicine. I will stamp that. There's nothing, because again, it just makes perfect sense that we can make our own perfect medicine in the best way for free every day. All right, so check out my video on that. Better than coconut water. Okay. I thought it was too much because I've been listening to Aris, and he usually says that we should only have one heavy bowel movement. That has never been my reality. I think the thing is too, is that if you're making changes it's going to take your body time to adjust. Anytime we're making, like, especially dietary changes, I mean, you talk about eating food that has high level moisture. These are foods that, again, your digestion is going to be different, and it will take some time for your body to sort of reset itself, and that could take 3 months, 6 months, a year. I would say, I would say by at least a year, doing this consistent, a whole complete solar cycle. Then by that time, your body should have, the digestion should have made the transition in terms of, okay, this is how I'm used to now accepting the food that you give me, and this is how I'm going to release it. All right, can nuts like cashews be included in a diet? Do you have anything to say about how much nuts we should consume? Yeah, it's another great question. Great question. I definitely, let me just say about nuts in general. At least for me at this point, I just turned 49 last month. Um, uh, I I mean, I've always eaten nuts growing up. I have two young boys. They actually get reactions, which is interesting. But I think as they grow up, they'll be able to ingest nuts. And I just say that to say that nuts are definitely something to something to consider once you're first going raw. Because the thing is like, at least from as far as plants and how plants can produce fats and proteins that can be fulfilling, nuts is probably going to be the most densest, the dense mineral and protein that we're going to eat. And as a chef, one of the things I've done, because when you first, if you're trying to go raw, and you're when you're first going raw, you don't want to obviously eat too much nuts. One thing, when I can always remember when I first went raw, uh I would say, well, I'm just eat what I like, and a bunch of fruit, and you're eating a lot of fruits. It's like, okay, I'm hungry, I want to eat something that's going to sit on my stomach for a little longer than fruit is. So you go for the nuts, and that can be dangerous, because you're going really from one extreme to the next. So if you're new, then I suggest doing like a high large fruit breakfast, one like a mono fruit or no more than two fruits, and then doing like a big salad for lunch or a big salad for dinner, because really you need the greens and sort of, to sort of reset the sugar in your system. If you're used to eating like cooked starches and meats and things, those things is just like, you know, it's high level of sugar, and so you got to reset that with the good sugar that we get from greens. Greens are sugars, and so we need to introduce those greens, on a high level. Do about 6, 9, 12 months of that, and then therefore you don't have the desire to really eat too much nuts, because really the fulfilling combination is combining the greens with the nuts. See, the nuts for the most part are acid forming, greens for the most part are alkaline forming. They balance each other, and so they balance each other nutritionally, and you'll find that when you eat them together, you will have a satiation that is so fulfilling and so complete, and something that really can hold you through the day, something that will allow you to not overeat. So that's really the key. And one of the things I do, I keep promising I'm going to be putting I got a new course that I'm going to be releasing on my YouTube channel, hopefully within the next week or two. But really, I talk about this in terms of really like making nut pates, and but I wanted to bring that. I wanted to mention that because even with the nut pate, actually, the largest ingredient is not nuts. It's probably like a green herb or a green vegetable like celery or something like parsley, maybe cilantro. I'll use more of that than I would use a nut like almond or or any other nut that I would be using to form a nut pate. So and then I know your question was specifically also about cashews. Some people say, cashews are not raw, cashews are, not good to eat. I say, like, look, we can really glorify or demonize almost any food. Again, 20 plus years of doing this. You got to really find, after a while, you got to find what is going to work for you, what's best for you. And cashews, I still eat cashews. I usually balance the cashew with, I don't usually eat my nuts as a snack. As a chef, I'm usually either making a pate or sauce or a milk or something like that. And 9 times out of 10, I'm soaking the nuts prior to eating the nuts or using the nut in a recipe. There are exceptions to that. I won't share it here. We're focused on detox. We still waiting for the good doctor. Um, Let me check on him real quick before I take on the next question. Sending him a message here. It's almost 12:30. All right. So as we continue to wait for him, let's see what the next question is. All right. Plant-based eats. What's up? When you did your 30-day fast, does you do anything other than supplementation B12, or was it just organic coconut juice for three plus weeks? Yeah, no supplementation. One of the things I say with fasting is that people ask me all the time, should they supplement while on the fast? I say, it's almost like, when you think about fasting, is you're cleansing, you're removing the excess to bring in to really bring in the new hold on, I'm getting a call here. Yes, is Aris ready? Hello? Yes, I can hear you. No, I'm just waiting for Aris. I'm on live on YouTube now, so I just been waiting. Is he about to get on, or what's happening? Oh, okay. I just see him. Okay.
Okay. Hey, Khepra.
All right. Okay. All right. Bye. Yep. All right. How you doing, Doc?
Hey, man, I'm doing fine. Trying to get my logistics with the camera angles here.
Okay. Okay. Are we going on
Hmm.
IG Live, or we just gonna stay here?
No, we going on IG Live as well.
Okay. Do
So
you want
we're
me to
on it.
wait? Do you want me to
I'm
wait?
I'm on it right now. Here I am, IG Live coming in.
Okay.
Just
All right. I
looking
see
for your
you. All right.
request.
I'm gonna request.
Okay, okay. Greetings, family. Chef Khepra. Okay, let's get you in here.
All
How
right.
do I see? This thing moves so fast. Uh, let's see. It says that you've joined. Now, trying to get
Yeah. Scroll
get you
down.
on is
Yeah, I sent the request.
okay. I see you here. Okay, I think
Okay.
uh, maybe I sent a request too. Did you see a request? I tried. I see you joined. Uh, I waved at you. That's what I did.
Okay.
Okay. So, but I sent you a request as well. Okay. See uh, here. Uh, yeah, it's just giving me the option to send requests. It doesn't ask me to bring you in.
Oh, it says I joined, but I don't see myself on the screen here.
Yeah. So this is where. Yeah, it tells me that you've joined too, but I don't see how to bring you up on the screen.
All right, let me exit. I'll re-enter.
Okay. Great. 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 So, family, wonderful seeing you here. Great to be
All right, I
here
just
with
sent the
you.
request to join.
Okay. So, yeah. So I'm looking for your request there. Let's see.
Okay.
Don't see where to bring you in. Yeah,
Okay.
technology moves so
Well,
fast.
I mean, what we could do is I'll try it one more. I'll try it one more time. Cause
Okay.
all right. Well, you on IG Live.
Yeah, well, send me the request again. Let me see what
Okay.
happened. Maybe it moved too fast for me. Yeah, I am trying to get super speedy here these days and keep up with, new tech.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm on the lookout. It hasn't popped up yet. Uh,
Yeah, it keeps
okay,
saying
okay,
my request wasn't sent. Yeah,
okay.
for some reason
So,
it's having trouble. Oh wait.
okay,
Oh, okay. There we go. There we
here
go.
we are. All right, all right.
Okay.
So, so I
Okay.
hear you. There you are. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Fantastic. Here we are on both ends of the extremes.
Yeah. And I don't think. I mean, I have my headphones. I don't. I'm not getting. I don't think. I think the sound is good.
Yeah, I'm getting a feedback here. Let me put in my headphones. 1 minute.
Yeah. All right. While he's doing that, I'm just gonna finish. I'm gonna finish answering the question. Oh well, he's back. All right.
You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I was there was a question someone had asked me. I was talking about some years back. I did over 30 days of just coconut water, and they were asking if I did any supplementation. And I was explaining as far as supplementation, when you're really trying to, when you're really detoxing, you're really cleaning house, and I like to think of it as like if you're, if you have a room in a house and you want to bring in new furniture, you got to take out the old furniture first before you bring in the new furniture. And that's how I think about it as far as like fasting and detoxing. It's like, any type of food or supplementation, your body, you're really trying to the healing is in the rest. And if you're bringing in these supplements and things, your body, you're forcing your body to process it, and you're not getting the benefit of the rest.
Okay.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Well, for me, it's pretty much the same. You know, what I do is I look at it as, I'm remodeling my house,
Right.
and I gut it out. I pull down all of the walls, just leave the structure in place, the retaining walls and stuff like that, but all the little, you know, plyboard or sheetrock and stuff, tear all of that down, and I'm getting ready to rebuild my house. Now I got to clean all that stuff out that I gutted down. I'm not going to build on top of that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm not going to put a new dressing on top of an old foundation. And it's pretty much exactly what we're doing with the body when we go through these cleansings like this, is that we really setting things up in a level where we rebuilding, after cleansing, after breaking down the dead cells. We want to evacuate that. We want to push it out before we start putting in new building materials to put the system on par with the new life that we're looking to live.
Yes. Okay. So one thing I wanted to, before we take more questions, I wanted to get your thoughts on, because I think when most people think about detox, maybe they consider it to be like a one-off event, something that they do, for whatever reason, they may be spurred to think, oh, I need a detox. I need to, I mean, there's so many people I've had over the years where it's, it's like, yeah, they'll come back and say, oh, I did this last year, I did this 5 years ago. And, while it's good that they at least are doing it on some level, but in terms of it being like part of a regular practice, a regular routine, I wanted you to really speak on that and really talk about it just from a way of life, not just like a one-off type of event.
Okay. Yeah, well, for me, I would even go beyond a way of life.
Mm,
It's just a life, period. It's not a lifestyle either.
mm,
It's get a life,
mm,
get your life on, regulate your life, set the body in rhythm, set it in motion. The human body is another heavenly body out here in the cosmos. you know, and we need to synchronize and align with all of the other heavenly bodies that are out here. That's why a lot of us, we're looking at astrology, numerology. We're looking at all of these different sciences as to how to match up, how to align ourselves with, this planet, that vibration, that color, that gem. How do we align ourselves with self? Where do we fit in the scheme of life, in the universe? And this is what it's really all about, setting the body, setting our temple, setting it in rhythm, putting it in a motion. And you know how we are. Everything is consistent in life. We see the sun, it shows up at a certain time, it disappears at another time. And that is consistent throughout the lifespan of the sun, the moon, the other planets, the mangoes, the apples. Everything happens in season or in temperament according to its nature and its relationship with the rest of the universe. The human body is the same. We need to, it's not about, okay, I'm going to shut it down for 21 days and do a major clean out, then I'm good for the next 4 or 5 years. No, you
mm.
breathe in rhythm constantly, and you know your intake and your outtake. Okay, yeah, seems like my battery here is on a trip. So that's what seems to be going on with my IG. So I'm going
Oh,
to
okay.
Yeah, I'm going to get that plugged in. So you can continue, Kepra, while I get that set up properly.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. So I'll go back to the other question. Well, he answered that as far as the question we had from Plant Based Eats. Shout out to them. Thank you for that question. Yeah, so this question here, this is just my experience on a 3-day fast. When I dry fast, I have many BMs. When I water fast, I have little to no BMs. That would be, I want to really save that question for Reese. I don't have a lot of experience with dry fasting. Um, I have very little actually. I may have done one, I know less on one hand, so I can't really speak to that. I just know as far as because I would actually think it's just the opposite, but um, I guess when you say water fast, you're doing probably spring water, because I know that doing spring water or some type of water that is not fresh, usually that will not stimulate the bowels. So we'll put that question on the back burner for Reese. Thanks for let's see. Okay. All right. So we're gonna bring that question back.
Okay, I'm back here.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a question you need my support with.
Yeah. So the sister had the question here. She says when she just this is her experience on a 3-day fast. When she dry fast, she has many bowel movements, but when she water fasts, little to no bowel movements.
Well, water has little to no life, little to no
Mm.
action. When you're doing a water fast, it does not stimulate peristaltic movement. So, on the other hand, coconut water automatically stimulates peristalsis because it has the electrolytes. It has life. It has the electricity in it. But
Hmm.
I remember in my early days when I started fasting, we're talking 51 years ago, when before I did anything, I started fasting. But back then, the way of fasting that was being promoted was using distilled water. Yeah, the
Mm.
first book I read was Paul Bragg, Scientific Fasting. Paul Bragg, the father of Patricia Bragg, who have the Bragg products right now. Paul Bragg, he was, back there, Jack LaLanne and those guys, they were like, the nature wonder guy kids. So they were like the big authorities back then. So when I read his book, Scientific Fasting, that's what it was about. Fasting once a week, but using distilled water. And I noticed, no, I did not have any bowel movement, but then also they recommended that you would do a laxative the night before. So I would do senna leaves, as a herbal laxative, or you do prune juice that morning of the fast, so that you could empty out the colon. Because generally the body's going to release a lot just doing water, but it's not coming out of the colon. So it's going into the colon, being deposited in there, and just sitting around. So if you don't keep it moving, then you end up getting headaches, you feel nausea, you feel dizzy, you feel like you want to vomit, you want to faint. It's pretty much the same thing that happens with you when you do wheatgrass juice. Wheatgrass juice, we know that when you're looking at, say, the life of the wheat berry in its whole state, dry state, it's a magnetic food. It's a building food. We take it and we make flour with it. We do all these kind of things to make stuffing and so forth. And it will stuff you up. It will bloat you up, but it will also constipate you. You will not move it out. But you take that wheat berry, you soak it, remove the enzyme inhibitors. You germinate it after 24 hours of having it soaked for 12 hours. Then it germinates. Then it sprouts. When the wheat sprouts, Then you plant the sprouted wheat after 3 days of sprouting, and you end up growing it into wheatgrass, 10-day process. You take the wheatgrass itself, now it's electromagnetic. The wheat berry, the dried wheat berry, is magnetic. It's a building food. It will stuff you up. The wheatgrass now is an electromagnetic. It has 50% moisture, so it's electrical and magnetic. So it's a stabilizer. It balances you. We're not grass eaters by nature. So for us to accept the value of the wheat, now we got to take that wheatgrass and we juice it. So you drink the wheatgrass juice and it releases a lot of toxins instantly from all the cells, and it replaces those toxins with oxygen in the cells. But all those toxins that are pulling out of the cells from the wheatgrass juice, where are they going? They're coming into the colon, but they're not being pushed out. The wheatgrass juice does not stimulate bowel movement either because of the low amount of moisture in it. You're taking a concentrated cleanser, wheatgrass juice, pulling toxins out of the cells, but not enough moisture. So generally, you go to a clinic like Hippocrates Health Institute and these places that practice the use of wheatgrass juice extensively, but they have you walking around with an enema bucket on your shoulder as well, because you got to take enemas. You got to push it out. You got to pull the plug so it can come out. So, but what we do is now, in today's world, now we ask you to take that wheatgrass juice and follow it with coconut water. Because coconut water is going to stimulate the bowel movement. It's going to push out what the wheatgrass has done. So similar is exactly what you're doing when you're fasting with water, just plain water, whether it's distilled, spring water, bottled water, whatever it is. It's going to release toxins, and it tends to release a lot because you're not putting any building thing in. You just loosen stuff out, but it's not coming out of your system. It's not going to stimulate bowel movement. So now today, we have come to the point where we have accepted the concept of fasting as more a concept of giving the digestive system a rest so that the body's eliminative channels are working robustly and pushing stuff out, because the body cannot digest and eliminate simultaneously.
Right.
So once you shut the digestive system down, period, no matter what you're drinking, elimination is going to take place immediately. But if you're drinking just water, that elimination, yeah, it's just coming out of the cells, but it's in the body. It's not leaving the body at all. But if you're drinking coconut water or fresh fruit and vegetable juices, then it's not only coming out of the cells, but it's also moving out of the body automatically, because you're going to have bowel movements. It may not be every day, but you're not having the bulk, the fiber to push like that every day. And then the longer you fast, yes, the movements are going to be lesser because you have less volume, less mass material coming out of the body. So it's a very intense science. And this is why we wanted to bring this session to you today, so that we understand more of the entire process of cleansing and detoxing. And now that we're talking about what's coming up, the equinox, the equinox. Now we're aligning our body with the rest of the heavenly bodies out there, because we notice on the equinox, which is coming up, the fall equinox in the northern hemisphere, September 20th, 21st, and 22nd. We set aside those 3 days every September 20th, 21st, and 22nd to now do a major fall cleaning. Or back in my days as a youth, it was a back to school cleansing. Because it was like right around after your school started, September, first, second week of September, the school is open. The next week, grandma's giving you laxatives. Like, you in school now, boy. You got to clean out all that stuff you ate during the vacation months. We're going to clean you out. So these seasonal cleansing like that, it's basically getting the body ready for the season to come. It's pretty much like with your car. You know, you change the oil, you change the filter and all this stuff, but moving into winter, you're going to now change your coolant, you know, to antifreeze. You're not going to cool the car now. You're going to make it so it doesn't freeze. That's what you're doing to your body now. Now you're going to start putting a different fuel in your body, because during the fall, from September 21st on to December 21st, the foods that are in abundance are greens or vegetables. So you want to get more of these electromagnetic foods into your system. So you're changing from your summer diet, which was mostly fruits. Now you're changing to a more vegetable-based diet of green leaves and non-starchy vegetables and vegetable fruit. It will be more predominant of these types of foods. So you're switching your system over. And if you notice, this is a pivot time of the year when the whole flu season kind of stuff rings the bell. Because pretty much everyone on the planet during that time is going through a major detox automatically, because we're plugged into the rest of the universe. So we know, Khepra, can you look up, or do you know exactly what moment the fall equinox is? It's this September 2021. Can you look that up?
Okay.
Or search right now, fall equinox 2021. And it's going to tell you the exact date, whether it's the 21st, or 22nd. And it's going to tell you the exact second that is going to happen. So that's why we ask you to set aside those 3 days every year, because it could happen the 20th, the 21st, or the 22nd of September. It may even happen the 19th of September, depending. I mean, so this is an exact science. And we are plugged in with the rest of the universe, and it does affect us. So the body tends to automatically eliminate toxins during these very 4 special pivot points of the year. Okay, so I'm looking it up. Fall equinox. Fall equinox 2021. Okay, I put that in, and here it comes up. Fall equinox 2021 in Northern Hemisphere will be 2:20 p.m. 2:20 p.m. on Wednesday, September 22nd. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? The fall equinox this year is at September 22nd at 2:20 p.m. Look at those 222s in there. Look at those two. Look at that alignment. Look at that alignment. So this is no spooky stuff. This is no mystery. I'm trying to get back to this YouTube page here. Let's see where we at here. Yeah, because I'm going. That's why I didn't want to go search this thing, because I know.
Well, you're still here with us.
I'm still with you on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't see myself, but that's fine. I don't need to see myself on YouTube.
Right.
I'm on my tube.
Right.
So look at that alignment. September 22nd, 2021. Imagine if this would happen September 22nd, 2022. We would have been like, oh man, the world is getting ready to flip. Look at that alignment, that harmonic convergence. So September 22, 2021 at 2:20 p.m., the body is going into a automatic detox moment at the fall equinox. So that's why I always recommend that we fast the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of September, December, March, and June on the solstice and equinox. This is a normal time that the body automatically releases toxins. So you don't want to go against the grain. You don't want to go against your flow. You don't want to go against the universe. You don't want to be eating on these 3 days, 4 times a year. So that's your seasonal cleanse, your seasonal detox. So I was supposed to say, it's not a style. It's not a lifestyle. It's not a way of life. It's a way of being. It's living in harmony with the rest of the heavenly body out here with us. We are aligned with the rest of the universe. So we need to step up and take our rightful place in the scheme of life. And this is what we do, whether it's astrology, divinology, whatever religion or spirituality that we use, and we flip the card or roll the dice or whatever you're doing, you're looking for where you fit in,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's through our ancestral spirit, through our mystical, magical way of interpreting numbers and XYZ, our birthday, whatever. How do I fit in? And this
Mm.
is definitely the exact connection. And that's why they could tell you, oh, there's going to be so many, you heard it, like say during the swine flu, there's going to be so many people going to die of the swine flu, or so many people going to come up with the chicken gunya, chikungunya or whatever, all these different types of stuff that they come up with because they know this is how the universe works. And so many people are going to be detoxing at this point. Everybody's going to be detoxing, but so many people are eating so bad. So many people are eating fast food, billions every day. They
Mm-hmm.
know how much chicken is produced in Jamaica every day. Because most of the chicken that's eaten in Jamaica today is coming from the chicken slaughterhouses that they raise from little chickies that they bring in from somewhere, and they got 30 days for them to grow up. So they know how many people in Jamaica is going to get the chicken gunya, or in Brazil,
Mm-hmm.
or in Watts, because they know how much you're eating of these things,
Mm.
how much swine flu is going to hit. And they give them these kind of names. So, but let's not talk about the current state of this flu, pandemic, pandemic, or whatever it is, because yeah, a lot of it is, pattern, governed, and rule predictable. And I just gonna leave it right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so I want to take this opportunity to mention that we talking about detoxification. We focused on that today. To really, we have obviously the fall equinox, and we will be doing a retreat that will start on the 18th of September, and that will continue into the 24th. So if you're interested in joining us in Panama next month for that, and then following that, we will have a raw chef certification retreat following the week following. So you can see the complete calendar. Or you can click on the link if you're on YouTube. There's a link that I provided to the website, and you can get the complete schedule. Basically, they asked the question, in terms of the amount of days. I think you answered that as far as the 3 days. I know I'll just chime
Yeah.
in.
Well, let's break it down. Let's break down the week.
Okay.
And if you look at our calendar carefully, you will see that's the pivot week for us every month. So we have a regenerative retreat, whether it's a equinox or solstice detox. We have it from the 18th to the 24th, and that pivots every month for us. That's our calendar month, really. Let's say it begins the 18th of the month. So when you come in on the 18th, you got 2 days to basically just unwind, the 18th and the 19th. So we're going to give you light fare, soup and salad, basically, that kind of stuff. Soup, salads, very light stuff. But of course, for those of you who need stuff heavier, yeah, we're going to up the protein for you as well, and hit you with some great nut meats and those types of things. But ideally, you're getting ready for the 3 days. So it's like what we call an elimination eating program. So you're going to be eating foods that are going to primarily start loosening up, softening up, and getting the elimination in motion. But of course, some of you, because we here at the Regenerative Center, we understand and accept the fact that everybody's not on the same program. Okay? So our programs are pretty much flexible to accommodate individual personal interests and state of being. So you might decide, look, I'm fasting from day one, from the time I hit there to 18. We're ready for you. We're ready for those who just want to go along with the standard program, the elimination diet the first 2 days. And we're also ready for those of you who say, no, I need some heavier stuff. Okay, so this is how we manage it all our program. Then ideally now, the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, we want you to just have all liquids, all juices, fruit juice, vegetable juice, and coconut water. That's the standard fare. Some of you might say, look, I'm just going to do coconut water for the 3 days. Fine, you got it going on. Some of you are just going to do fruit juice because I'm a fruitarian. You got it going on. We're here to accommodate you. Some, I got diabetes or some other kind of sugar issue. I don't want nothing with fruit. I don't not even coconut water. We got vegetable juice for you, 100%. Some of you might say, look, I know if I do this thing like that, the way you're saying, I'm going to lose a pound a day if I'm fasting every day. So I don't want to lose 7 pounds in 7 days. Or I don't want to lose 3 pounds in 3 days. So I need to bone up. Okay, we're going to drop you with some nut milk. So for your whole time, you can have your nut milk or your seed milk. So this is how we're running these retreats. And this is why we set them these days. This is where I've been running my life for years. We're talking over 40 years, where I've been fasting every solstice, every equinox, and generally I set aside that week, the 18th to the 24th of the month. So the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, here you go. I do my liquids. Right now, I primarily do coconut water based on how I'm living today. 30 years ago, no. I'm hitting like orange juice, you know, and I was fasting on all 100% orange juice 30 years ago for 3 days. So we got to move with the reality of the constitution of our body in today's time and space. Not what somebody said, not what somebody did, not what somebody is planning for me. It's what my body is saying, this is what I want. And then the last 2 days, the 23rd and 24th, we help you break the fast and we move you into eating. So the 23rd, we step up the fruits. So you want to push everything out. You got our 50% fruits the 23rd. So we're like boom, 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 because some of you may not have had your releases during those 3 days. So we want you to push out strong. And then this being a special occasion, a special retreat, a program of education, we're going to pull all the stops out on the 24th. You know, we're going to pull all the stops out. Right. So we're going to take you to a royal feast. We got 2 chefs in the house to cater to you. But anyway, however it works out, keep in mind that you are the star. You are the action. And whatever you are coming to do, we are here to facilitate and to cater to you. So that's why even we're very careful about even putting out an agenda and saying this is exactly what we're going to do every day. This is just projection. This is projection, and this is what we may call, just a graph for the ideal. But then it's up to you now, as everybody collectively, how this is going to really unfold in real time for all of us. So go ahead, Khepra. You can take it from there.
Okay. I think, I guess we lost him on Instagram. Okay. So
I didn't realize my battery, my charger came out. Technology, okay. There's so much to keep up with today.
Right. Okay.
Touch one thing and it pulls another.
Right.
And something just touched me. I've been drinking my pineapple passion ginger. Pineapple juice with passion fruit juice, coconut water, and ginger. And I've already drank 3 quarters already for the day, 3 quarts. And I'm on my 4th quart. So that means I'm going to make a stop to the drain center while you continue, Khepra. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, I wanted him to address the question by Brother Julius. Well, if I had to answer it, it said it's really not clear to me which juices I should be drinking during the fast? Just one fruit, combined fruits. What about sweet versus acid? What about green juices? Mostly fruit or green. Well, my suggestion would be a variety, only because when you are, you got to think about coming off the fast. And I feel like during a fast, you're really, you're putting in new programming. You're putting in, as Aris mentioned that earlier, when you're cleaning house, again, you're rewiring the system. So, by doing a variety of juices, I think is the best way to go. Only because you want your diet, the food, when you start to eat, you want the food you eat to mirror what you've been doing on the fast versus just going extreme water or dry, and then you go right back to the food that you were eating prior to the fast. I don't, I mean, you're not going to get the benefit of the fast if you're not making improvements when you begin to eat. So, Reese, did you see that? Did you hear what I said about that?
Yeah, I'm with it
Yeah.
myself, Khepra. I was just looking at a question here on IG. But
Okay.
yeah, we definitely, have to consider that when we're making these kind of moves, we on Mother Nature's operating state table. you know, so you don't want to go too far of an extreme because the body is always seeking equilibrium.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what happens. We go too far of an extreme. We go for 30, 40, 50, 60 days of fasting, say on distilled water or plain water or on one juice or something like that. At some point, the body's going to try to find its way back. And then for most of us, that ends up being the point where we go back to our old ways.
Mm-hmm.
So make it as realistic as possible. And please don't challenge yourself. That's why we never set these things up as a challenge. This is not a juice challenge. We're not challenging anybody. We want the balance. It's maybe a juice balance. We want to balance our relationships not only within ourselves but with each other. So we don't want to really be on too far extremes, even as a group cohabitating together for a week. We want harmonics. So ideally, when you do sign up to come with us, on these types of programs, we generally kind of really interview you first. We want to know who's coming, and we want to
Mm-hmm.
know your objectives, and we want to know that you're going to be in harmony. We're all going to be in harmony so that we don't have someone or some force, some entity, coming in as a disruptive, whatever it may be. So it's all about peace and balance and love and harmony, but most of our harmony, our relationship with the universe and our direct connector to the universe is through the plants. That's our link to the universe is the plants. We ain't going nowhere without these plants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think before I move on to the next question, I think it should be meant to be said that I'm sure you get questions all the time, every day. I could imagine like what to do for this and what to do for that, and you know, and in large part, the answer is right. What we're talking about right now.
Yeah, get a life. Get a life. That's it.
Yeah,
Get a life.
yeah,
Where did you lose your life? Pick it back up.
yeah.
Get back get back into the scheme of living. Because many of us are walking dead and we come and burden other people with what can I do as a patchwork, so I can put more of the problem back in. No, we're not talking about remedy or temporary relief. And
Mm,
we're not talking about a lifestyle. It's about get your life on. So when you come into us, you come into the Serious Institute. Okay.
hmm Okay. So, was there a question did you saw on IG or you?
it's a question that we pretty much answered already in terms of the seasonal dates,
Okay.
to do the fasting.
Okay. Well, I know
So,
I did. Yeah.
go ahead. What I was going to mention is like, this is a part of a growing up process, and this process starts from birth. We see what happens from birth. An infant sleeps a lot.
Hmm.
And when we're sleeping, we are fasting because that infant is building a tremendous body. It's got all the codes that it needs in it, in the original genes that came together from mama and papa. Everything is coded in there in that DNA strand. And we start putting together sheets and, bones and all of this stuff. And when you come out of the womb, you're coming out pretty much fasting still. And that's why we recommend 2 years of breastfeeding exclusively, because that infant got work to do. It's got a huge body to build. And it does not need to be distracted with digesting because its digestive system is not even ready. It takes 2 years to build your digestive system. So all of this construction work that's taking place, it goes on for life. So you can't short circuit, you can't miss any of these steps, or you can't do them incorrectly, because you see what happens. A lot of us who have not been breastfed, we have now digestive issues today. Leaky gut syndrome, acid reflux, all this stuff. And then you're going to ask me, what can I do to fix it? Ask mama what she did to put you in the predicament that you're in today. And let's flip the dial and let's start doing it for our children so they don't come out the way we have. And to have to fix something for 40 years later that was pretty much etched in stone from birth. So let's get a life. And generally, that life begins 2 years prior to conception. Mother and father, get ready before you conceive. Okay?
Hmm.
Because you're putting in some codes that's going to live with this human being for their life. And it's the same thing as we move off of breastfeeding and we start going into cycles of life. It's a definite cycle from the time we start eating table food that we have our digestive system now ready. 2 years. How do we begin to start conditioning that system so we don't corrupt it too early? Yeah, they don't need sweeteners, they don't need salt or none of that stuff because mama didn't take that stuff. So we don't want to corrupt them now. We don't want to give them all this stuff. So these are very delicate, formative years that we have to make sure. And we move on from the time they start hitting going to school. That's another cycle. And then we're talking, hey, finish elementary school, 12 years old, going into your teens. That's a whole nother cycle. So we start observing these things. And then by the time you hit your 20, 21, you're fully built, ready for the world. So you don't need all the heavy building blocks anymore. Then your cycles start jumping in 20s, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80. What am I consuming? How am I moving? So you get to the point where, okay, so one of the first things you want to do now is you begin to grow up. So by the time you hit 20 and stuff, now you want to start fasting once a week. So this is what we recommend, the weekly fast, before you start thinking of the seasonal fast. By the time you hit 20, then you fully built, fully grown. Now you're going to start accumulating and backing up waste. So we recommend 20, fasting once a week. You've already been fasting every night that you go to sleep for 8 hours. You want to bridge 2 nights together. You want to do a 36-hour fast, as is recommended with Paul Bragg's scientific fasting once a week. But again, back then, he was treating us to distilled water. Now we're treating you to coconut water. That once a week fast for coconut water. If that doesn't work for you because you live in so place and you can't get coconut water, then watermelon will work. Watermelon juice fast. Oh, I can't do watermelon because I got diabetes. Then cucumber. Go with the sugarless watermelon. Cucumber juice fast. And this is how we rock it. And you decide what works for you. But ideally, you go on a mono fasting program once a week. Coconut water, fruit juice, or vegetable juice, or you do a combination of the three. And if you don't want to lose too much and you want to keep some kind of building action going on, do a nut milk. Drop that in there. So you got coconut water, fruit juice, vegetable juice, and a nut milk, but filtered nut milk, because you don't want to activate the digestive system. It's giving your digestive system a 36-hour fast, a 36-hour break. So once a week, your body is focused on elimination. Boom. Then we take a step from there. Whether you're 25, 30, however, interval in between, you start dropping this other step in. The next step, it could be a year later. It could be simultaneously. The next step is your lunar fasting cycle. 2 days every month. You already have your once a week, 52 days for the whole year, fasting in rhythm. Inhale, exhale, in rhythm. So you're fasting in rhythm once a week, 36 hours every Saturday. Inhale, exhale. You got that rhythm. Now you're adding another rhythm. That's the lunar fasting. 2 days on the new moon and on the full moon every 28 days. So you're giving your body now an extra push to make sure, as I mature, as I age, and the more complicated my eating gets, the more option I'm eating out and eating freaky stuff now. Now I'm going to drop in another 2 days every 28 days to make sure that none of the excess waste gets carried over. Then after that lunar fasting, 2 days every 28 days, that's another 24 days that you're fasting for the year. So you got 52 once a week, 24 days, twice a month. That's 76 days right there already. And as you age, as you mature, you're going to notice I need to eat less anyway. So this system works for me. Then once we got that down, now we come into the seasonal cycle. And again, you could do this at any age. We're just giving you, parameters, a guidepost. Let it match your reality. So the guidepost is where we at today, seasonal fasting on the equinox and the solstice. 3 days, 4 times for the year. That's another 12 days. So we got 88 days for the year. If nothing overlaps, you can fast, stop eating, shut it down for 88 days for the year. That's like 1/3 of your life now. You're not eating. So you measure this and you figure out how does this work for you. And you're going to see you're going to be living disease-free. That's what we're talking about. You don't have to be sick. This is life insurance, health insurance. Cost me nothing in medication. Cost me nothing in hospital bill. Cost me nothing in doctor bills. This is how we rocking it. It's a brand new civilization here. And whatever this period of transition that we're experiencing now, this 2020 into this 2021, step up. Mind your life. Self-defense. We don't need to rely on anything external to the body, of the body. We are equipped from birth. We've been coded, DNA fixed for life. Respect yourself. That's where we at. And we helping you to bridge those gaps so that you could step easy, step light, and you don't have to go through all that I did to learn to stand where I'm at now. Because then your next step, you think we got rid of you. You think you got rid of us after the seasonal fast. Now we're talking that the yearly fast, which is what I just did, 74 days of not eating any food that has to be digested. I just did that for 74 days in harmony with my 74th rotation around the sun. So yes, the longer I live, the less I'm going to eat day by day, taking it one day at a time. And, I know I may be sounding like a preacher, but maybe that's what you dialed up in me today.
Well, it's like I'm listening, and the thought that occurred to me is like, when if you incorporate these days and these practices and this rhythm, you're really managing food addiction. It's like people are addicted to food. And again, I say we eat like children. Children eat 3 times a day with snacks. They're eating all day, but they're growing. They're doubling in size. We're fully grown, but we still eat like children. But then, as you said, disease free. You're managing. You're basically, operating as you should. But as it comes in, it's total efficiency. Because when you're fasting, you're able to, I say that, everything we eat, we hold on to a little bit for that rainy day, for the day that, the famine hits.
Right.
And those reserves.
When the famine hits, though.
Right.
Not stock up on a whole bunch of survival food. Hibernate. Live off the fat of the body. Not many of you are already fully stocked. You're well stocked for the famine.
Yes. So the fat reserves, the body uses that as fuel, and therefore it doesn't turn on you to create disease and destruction.
Well said, brother. Well said.
Yeah. So let's take this question here. He asked it about the wheatgrass juice. You mentioned it. He said, I heard that water destabilizes chlorophyll, as blending wheatgrass with water could be bad. What's your thoughts on that?
Blending wheatgrass with water, yes. Actually, blending wheatgrass with anything is not necessarily bad. It just really dilutes it. It weakens it. One thing, if you do have access to lab, that you could like really observe wheatgrass under a microscope, look at the molecular structure of wheatgrass, and put a drop of your blood under that microscope as well, and look at the molecular structure of your blood. So now you can see what's going on. If you dilute that wheatgrass with water, that molecular structure changes. And I don't know if you've seen the video of me, the man who hasn't drank water in 40 years. Part of the reason why I don't drink water, plain water, common water, empty water, bottled water, spring water, toilet water, is because it does nothing but dilutes my life. I'm not going to dilute my life. Well, it does other stuff. Yeah, it hydrates, temporary. Water dilutes. So yeah, it dilutes wheatgrass juice and it changes its molecular structure. We want structured water. Wheatgrass juice, the way it is structured, but it's not volume water. You supplement it or complement it with water, but you want a living water. So generally, it's not recommended that you mix wheatgrass juice with fruit juices because it counteracts the effect of the wheatgrass juice. Wheatgrass juice will clean anything out, wipe it out. And that's why you don't take it on a full stomach. You got to do it on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, because otherwise it's going to wipe out what's in your stomach. So we have to be careful. There's a whole science to wheatgrass juice. And again, it has a similar molecular structure as the human blood. So it has an affinity to the blood. It gets to the cells, draw toxins out, and replace those toxins with oxygen. It oxygenates the human blood. So it's a very specific, herb. And, if we don't follow the process this way, then it could be a very destructive food, like that wheat berry that we take and we make bread. And back in the days, people used to call bread the staff of life. Please, today it's the staff of death. Everybody talking about gluten-free now, white flour. And they use the word gluten, so you confuse. It's white flour free. That's what we used to talk about in the 60s. When we condemn white foods, white salt, white sugar, white flour.
Okay. Well, one of the this is why, one thing I prefer over wheatgrass, and I'm pretty sure that we would be doing it on this vibration, is the noni.
Ah, please. That's it.
You got to school us on the noni, doc, because I know you doing that every day, and
Well, look, Noni deserves a full court press. So next week,
oh, next week.
next week, we got to put a full court Noni press.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
when you come to the Institute, we're going to flood you with Noni. Yeah, we're going to flood your system with Noni. You can take up to a quart of Noni juice a day, and it does nothing but good. But we're going to drop you the full science on Noni juice next week because it
Okay.
really deserves
All
to
right.
be exposed.
All right. We got that in the agenda. Okay. All right. Noted. Noted.
All right. Great,
Yeah.
great, great.
All right. So, what's your thoughts on someone asked a question about celery juice, straight celery juice?
Wow. We need to be careful.
Oh,
In moderation.
in moderation. Yeah. Okay.
Man, I just hit the back of my throat with that ginger that was, see, when you have your juice like this, you see at the bottom, the ginger settled it, a little starch from the ginger. And I took a big gulp, big hit, and that ginger slammed in the back bottom part of my throat. Woo! Serious stuff. You're gonna be getting plenty of that when you come to the Institute. Lots of ginger too. But yeah, uh, we really need to step, very gently here with a lot of the things that we do, and not overdo it because it's good and all of these types of things. But let's come back. The question that you had asked, Khepra.
What as far as
Oh, I
celery?
answered the Noni question, but the one before I sidetracked from into the ginger.
Oh, I was asking. Well, you were talking about the wheatgrass,
Yeah.
and you were talking about all this. You were breaking down the whole science of wheatgrass, and I was saying like, well, one of the things, when people ask me about wheatgrass, I give them, I usually suggest the noni. We do the
Right.
noni juice. That noni is. I'm gonna pick noni all day
Mhm.
as a a healing tonic that we can again take as a shot, add to other juices. Um,
Mhm.
so the noni would be the but we can say we got that down for next week.
Yeah,
uh,
we're gonna really rock the Noni thing. Noni, definitely is a complete cellular detoxifier. And how you would notice the effect of Noni on your body is that your bowel movement is gonna be heavier. No
mm,
diarrhea or nothing like that, but the volume that's gonna come out. It's like you're gonna be like, damn, where did all this S come from? Yeah, it
yeah,
pulls it out. It
yeah,
pulls it out and drops it.
our brother had asked about the volume of the bowel movement volume being greater
Yeah.
versus less. I don't know if you
Well,
want to touch on that.
that with Noni, absolutely, because it's
Well, just
pulling.
in general with like going raw.
Oh, in general, going raw, whether your bowel movement initially is going to be greater.
Okay.
Yeah, initially you're going to see the effect, and you're going to lose waste. You may
Mm,
call it weight, but it's waste. So raw is going to definitely loosen up and unpack. So a lot of those six packs and tri packs and all of these things we've been packing, especially, we noticed it with some sisters. They be coming with all these big foreign parts on them, like they took a Botox or something,
hmm
and they get into raw food, and the brother be like, "Yo, baby, what happened to the calling card? You called me with that big butt, and now they say you on this raw food, and that butt seemed like it went down. No, the butter is melted.
mm,
It was full of butter and starch, potato, baked potato with butter. All that stuff start
hmm
melting. You see all that mucus coming out, it start melting. So yeah, initially you're going to lose waste, and it's going to be coming from all angles. So you're going to not be as stiff and dried out, and basically calcified as before. So you're going to be more flexible and so forth and so on. But after a while, the volume is going to decrease because you're not going to be eating as much because your stomach is going to shrink. Number one. So you're not putting in a lot of empty calories to get, a small amount of profit or yield, or nourishment
Hmm.
or energy in return. So you're not going to be eating the big, heavy, dense foods that are not providing you with adequate amount of caloric intake for the volume that you're consuming.
Okay. All right. Well, again, I'm gonna take this time to remind folks to, if you're here on YouTube, you can click the link to find out more information about our detoxification retreat. Or you can go back and rewatch the video. Dr. Aris really broke down how the days are going to go from the 18th to the 24th, and we'll be doing retreats monthly on those dates, on those specific dates that are detoxification, along with certifications, raw food certifications. So again, you can click on that link to find more information about that. Um, I don't have there. I mean, like, if people have questions, we got a few more minutes before we sign off. How's your time, Doc? How we
Well,
doing?
my time is good, but we also want to encourage them to write us sunfired@sunfired.com. So, we're happy to take your questions directly through sunfired@sunfired.com, and any particular inquiries about coming to the retreat center where to know what to expect and so forth and so on, and even how to register to come
Hmm.
to us. Drop us an email. Our assistant Jeanette, she's standing by to interact with you. She'll even give you a phone call and get personal. So that's the medium to contact us directly. Sunfired@sunfired.com, or Khepra, you might have a direct number or another email you want them to
Yeah,
connect
yeah,
with
yeah.
you
There's
as
a
well.
there's a link on the YouTube they can
Perfect.
click on,
Okay.
but you can also email me as well. Um, Another question: are you available? People may want to know: are you available for private consultations? Is it something you do? A Zoom call, something like that?
No, unfortunately, I'm not.
Yeah. So you got
My
that means
time
you got to come to the retreat to see the good doctor.
Yeah, my time is stretched. It's really
Okay.
stretched. That's why, but still, you can contact my assistant, Jeanette, and if it's just a basic, non-disease question or consultation,
Mm.
and I may be, make myself available. But generally, most consultations are centered around some kind of medical issues, and I'm not really I don't have the capacity, the space, the time to really attend to those things right now. We're definitely proactive, and that's why we're sharing with you this information that we share with you today. Because the bottom line is you don't have to be sick. But if it's a consultation about opening up a restaurant or something of that nature, then I can make myself available for that.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Well, again, as I said, there I don't have any more questions.
Okay.
There aren't any questions that have come in that I see on the YouTube.
Okay. Let me
So,
see what I have. What juices do you suggest for my 76-year-old mom with balance issues? She doesn't ever eat. Wow, you need to get mom, some rich juices, particularly vegetable juices, you know, uh definitely some stuff that's building, we want to put some some zucchini, you know, even carrot. Mom can use some carrot juice. And I know many of you out there, are not with the carrot juice thing because it's hybrid. Hey, much love to you. There's other 90% of all the rest of the food you're eating are hybrids. So if you're going to condemn carrot, throw the rest of your basket out with it. But mom can definitely make use of some carrot juice, spinach, these types of foods, Again, like some zucchini blended up in there, pressed out. Or you may not even want to give her just the pressed juice. You might just want to give her some pureed stuff. Just blend up your vegetables for her. You know, drop a little olive oil in there or some avocado. A little fat in there, but protein, iron, and calcium. So your nut milk, your seed milks, and stuff like that, shakes. Give her as much that's easily digestible without her having to do a lot of chewing and a lot of processing herself. At 76, when we get up to this level and we have issues with balancing our lives, then we need to come back to baby food time. Just pureed baby food. Twice a child and once a man. So it's that time to come back. And rejoin our uh, our youthful times. Don't challenge the digestive system as much as others or as we have done in earlier years. Uh, okay, so how can you take yourself off medicine? My dad just had a stroke. Any advice? I have no advice to assist anyone as to how they can get off of medicine. Stroke, we're talking, you know, uh, there's a brother out there that I would love to recommend. I mean, he's mostly like a cardiac doctor. We're talking Dr. Montgomery, Baxter Montgomery, the Houston Cardiac Center. This is a medical doctor, a brother that has a live food boot camp. So, he probably, if you call up that doctor, will probably welcome your father into his boot camp, you know. And of course, we have Dr. Kamau Kokai, who operates out of LA and New York. And he definitely, you're talking medical doctors that's got what it takes and respect, the sun-fired eating system, that they can definitely assist your dad with their practice, within their practice. Which days are for seasonal cleanse, if you don't mind? Okay, that's the 20th, 21st, and 22nd, September, December, March, and June. Okay, so I think we got all the questions wrapped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've wrapped up all the questions there, and we're ready. We're ready, to open up to receive you at the Sunfired Regenerative Center in Portobello, Panama. Panama is hot these days, and folks are coming in. Many ones are
Well,
relocating here.
do you want to reiterate maybe some of the for people who haven't traveled lately, as far as the testing and vaccines and all of that?
Well,
I mean, to my
Panama does not require you to have a vaccine to travel here. There's no quarantine issues going on anywhere in Panama either. Panama just requires that you have a negative COVID test result, a COVID test that was done within 72 hours prior to landing in Panama. And then for your return to the US, it's pretty much the same. You need a test done within 72 hours when you're leaving Panama to the time you land in the US. So Panama is, quite accommodating to the COVID, situation, and yeah, it's one of the most traveled destination these days in the entire world. And everything is on balance. There's no freaking out about any new strain of COVID taking over here or anything of that nature. But so we are ready, and the country is ready for you, and you know it's hurricane season, so we getting some big splash of rain right now, but mid-September, we should be easy with that. That's why we set our calendar to begin around that time. So, but otherwise, even rain or not, rain or shine, our farm is open to accommodate you, and even in the rain, it's nice and mellow. Wonderful place to relax and enjoy, a good detox.
yes, yes, indeed. Okay, so if there are no, did you have any other questions that you see? I don't have any questions. Um,
No, I don't see. Let me see. What juice were you talking about when you said it increases stool and weight loss? That's the noni juice, the fruit juice that we use as a cleanser, a detoxifier. So yeah, it's a fruit juice and it's noni, Noni. So that's it. That's our last question. I think we could seal on that note because that segues us right into our next week. And next week, it's on Tuesdays normally, Kepra.
yeah,
You need to remind them we're on Tuesday, 12 Eastern time, right here on Aris Life. We're also with Chef Kepra on YouTube and Facebook as well at the same time on
yeah.
Tuesday at 12 noon Eastern time.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
So yeah, well, good show. Again, we'll be back next week talking about. I guess it would be a part two to our detoxification theme as we go into the fall equinox. Again, Reese. You're gonna need to share. Well, people were asking if you could share the live. This, if you're on YouTube, you can check me out, and this will be on my channel. For those of you watching, definitely like the video and share it for the algorithm. And yeah, we will see you next week on Tuesday, and hopefully see you in the future in person
All
in
right.
Panama.
Looking forward, family. We're here to welcome you home to self. So when you come to us, it's about coming home to self. So Godspeed and see you soon.
All right, all right. Bless up.
All right. Peace.
Peace.